One of the mistakes we make when we do performance reviews is that we don't give people enough feedback, and they are surprised by the evaluation when it comes to the official, more or less, performance review. And I know many organizations now have what I call continuous feedback loops. The challenge is that if the feedback that we give in those loops, in those continuous feedback loops, is not realistic, because, well, many people don't know how to take feedback, and many leaders struggle with offering feedback. So if you have someone which is easily offended on the other side of the table, and you are not really very sure on how to offer that feedback, then what you're going to do, you're probably going to avoid that awkward moment, and you're not going to really tell the person what you think. So when it comes to more or less the official performance review, then you either have to play along with what you've done up until now and not really evaluate the person realistically, or you have to now tell them the truth. And this creates a challenge because there is a gap between the person's image of their performance and the manager or the leader's image of the person's performance. And the bigger the gap, the bigger the problem. Because if you have this person that maybe they're unaware, maybe they're a little bit overly optimistic about their performance, maybe they're not really seeing themselves clearly, they're not very aware, it's your responsibility as a leader to help them see that. Now, Max Dupree said that the first responsibility of a leader is to define reality. And in this case, you have to help the person see themselves realistically. So when they will have the performance review, and then if you do salary adjustments based on the performance review result, they're not surprised. You have to let them gently let them know what the performance review is going to be. And if you do this, like most organizations do this just once a year, and then they do a mid-year review, right? So if you do a mid-year review and you don't tell them, and if you don't share the realistic view of where they are, first of all, you're not being fair to them, you're not really serving them, right? And they might take risks that they shouldn't, because if they knew how well equipped they are for those risks, then they will probably act differently. So as a leader, you're really doing them a disservice if you're not sharing your realistic view of their performance. So that's one of the biggest mistakes, and that's where the challenge starts to appear, because there is a gap between their expectations and in your perspective, and now you have to explain that, and this is the awkward moment, and then you have this kind of conflict arising, and you have to deal with a problem that shouldn't have been a problem in the first place if you told them from the beginning more realistically that this is where you stand, because then they had a chance to adjust and adapt. But if you didn't tell them, then how could they done that? So you perhaps have been on someone's team that has done that for you, and you know how frustrated you were. But now if you're a leader, don't do that with your team. It's for your own sake, it's for the team's sake. Be as honest as possible, deliver the message as empathically as possible, but be honest. Don't give unrealistic expectations to people. Because disappointment is the gap between expectations, if they're up here, and reality. So if you want to avoid disappointing your people, set realistic expectations.